going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We got a big news coming from sNIO today. We all know that it was their delivery announcement, and it did not pan out well for sNIO. We're going to break that down in this video for you guys. We're also going to talk about the stock, show you what it's doing because it might surprise you on what it's doing for the day. But first, we ask you guys hit the sub button. It's the best way to support the channel. And yeah, we're back, baby. So hit that sub, show some support. If you aren't subbed to the channel yet, change your life and hit the sub button. But without further ado, let's give it some razzle dazzle and hop into it. So big news out of the day with sNIO. Deliveries were expected for today, and we got them, and they kind of disappointed a lot of people. sNIO delivering about 5,500 vehicles, just over 5,500, coming in with a total of 5,578. That was down from a lot of people's expectations. I know me personally, I was expecting somewhere around the 8,000 to 8,200 mark. Chad was somewhere in that ballpark as well.
Yeah, 8,100.
Yeah, kind of a disappointment. But that's still up 48% year over year, but it's down 26% from the month of July. And we all know this is all caused from the Delta. We're not going to say, you guys know why. It's caused because of that, what's going on in the world. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that it's happening, but it's also playing a good price, doing good things for the stock as well. So
right, I was just gonna say it's helping the stock today, which is crazy.
Right.
Bad news makes the stock go up, I guess.
Exactly, in that it does.
Yeah, but because of that, sNIO lowered its previous expectations for third quarter deliveries by 500 to around 1,500 units. So they expect to deliver 22,500 to 23,500. And they say that if the supply chain problems do not worsen further, September deliveries could set another delivery record. A monthly delivery record is what I'm trying to say, which they're going to have to meet the 22,500 to 23,500.
Right. So. Exactly. I mean, we did the math on it this morning, and from what they delivered so far in the first 2 months of this quarter, they're going to have to deliver between like 8,600 and 8,600 and 9,700 in order to meet that range. Even on the low end at 8,600, that's going to give them the 22.5 that they're looking for with the deliveries, which is on the low end of their expectations, which is still a record month. Yep. It's still going to be a record quarter if they can get those numbers. So I think that's a good catalyst to look for in sNIO, especially help driving the stock up. But speaking of driving the stock up, we always say it, a lot of you guys even say it, that good news drives the stock down, bad news drives it up, and that's exactly what happened today. The stock went up because of the fact that, the numbers were down, I guess. I don't know. We started off negative today, down to almost 5% on the day, but now it's sitting around, it was sitting around 1% positive, but it pulled itself back, and we're kind of flirting with that even line right now. But let's go ahead and look at the stock, show you guys what we're looking at, and we'll talk about it from there. So we can see that we're sitting around the 39.22 mark with sNIO. Kind of unfortunate because we almost pushed 40, which seems to be like a solid resistance right now for sNIO.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's insane that Sorry, I was just gonna say it's insane that it got bought back up that much because it was down over 5% pre-market, and for it to get bought back up all the way, almost to $40, that's just craziness.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's like a 6 or 7% gain on the day from the low on when it opened. But we can see for the day that it opened at $37.20, and then it had this nice massive run up all the way up to almost $40. And then now we're starting to see it pull back towards 39. I would love to see it hold this 39 because 38 held solid for us. We bought ourselves right back up to 38. I would love to see it hold 39. And honestly, like for me, I'm predicting this week anywhere between that. I wanted to see that $39 to $42 range. I would love to see it hold. We know 40 is a solid resistance for us right now with sNIO. I mean, we clearly saw that today, that it bounced off 40 one or two times, and we'll see if it can continue to go from here. But right now, it looks like we're in the midst of a small pullback here, down almost 0.5%. But we'll see if sNIO rebounds off of it, because we can see the RSI for the day is way down here at the $24 or 24 range, not dollar, down here at the 24 range. And usually when it hits 50 is when we see it bounce off, because we saw that multiple times today as well. So we'll see if it continues to do that. Obviously XPeng is down 3.5%, which to me is mind-boggling because that was up earlier.
Right.
But Li Auto actually beat their delivery numbers as well. They crushed it, absolutely crushed it, and they're down 1.2%. So there could be a turn in events with the market right now. We're not quite sure what's going on right this second. It is only about 1 o'clock here on the East Coast, so we got a few hours left to see if we can get maybe a 3 o'clock power hour with sNIO to push us back up towards that $40 mark. Love to see it. Would love to see it.
Yeah, I would love to see at least, like you said, hold above this 39. But I kind of expected it to be, mid 38s is what I was thinking, pre-market. But if we can hold above 39, that would be huge. We'll just have to wait and see, because it looks like a couple of the Chinese EV things are starting to kind of sell off, which is kind of to be expected. But yeah.
Looking at the year to date, though, we can see that NIO's still hanging around the 44 on the RSI. We did bounce off this bottom wedge again, and I'm telling you guys right now, we are flirting. So even if you look at this overall wedge pattern for the entirety of the stock, we can see that we've hit this bottom wedge, and it seems to be a solid support for the overall price of the stock itself. We touched it down here in the past, clear back in the month of what was that, May, and then we've just been flirting with it here. So I think we're coming towards the end of the year with this wedge pattern, and I think we got a bunch of catalysts leading up to this. Obviously we have September numbers, which NIO again did say, hey, if nothing goes bad, we can expect this thing to produce record numbers. We can expect that. We also have the Q4 earnings, and then we also have Q3 and Q4 earnings, and then we also have NIO Day, which is either going to be in December or January. So by the timing of this wedge pattern, just looking at it, following it through, I mean, that's coming around December 1st. And we saw last year, this thing last year took off like absolutely crazy in those, November, December marks. So could we get a repeat of last year? Fingers crossed. Who knows? Again, my end of year prediction for NIO, I'm kind of pulling it back to the 60-65 mark. Chad is still kind of debating on where he's placing his, but I would love to see us get towards that 60 to 65 by the end of this year. I was predicting 70 to 75, but with these low numbers in September, this could all go on how their numbers for August, I should say. It could be based on how they do in the month of September.
Yeah, that's why I was waiting to put out a number for end of year prediction, because I was waiting for these deliveries, because, if they're still getting hurt by shortages, obviously that changes things. But yeah, I'll have to come up with one here and the next day or two and let you guys know. But yeah, I mean, we could have another run up November, early November, like we did last year, November, December, like you just showed, and that would be huge. I would definitely take that, and that would get us over 60 for sure if we had anything close to like what happened last year, just straight blast it off. So
But another thing to note as well, real quick before we end the video, is the fact that NIO pulled back 5%, but the strength that it showed this morning, buying itself all the way back up. I mean, if you bought that very dip on the open, you're up, 6%, 7% right now on the day? Probably more towards 5 or 6 right now. I mean, that was a solid choice. Clearly shows that NIO has the strength to buy itself back, and that people still believe in this stock. And it'll be interesting to see what these, what the institutional investors do, if they maybe buy more shares on this dip, or if maybe some of them sell out based on these delivery numbers, or what comes out because of these numbers. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, so with NIO, just real quick, I was expecting it to sell off pretty hard in the morning. Once market opened, just everyone else panic selling when the market opened, but it didn't at all. It got bought right back up, which shows me a lot of strength in NIO, and obviously the people still believe. Anytime this thing pulls back, it gets bought up right away, which is a really good sign. So happy to see it. Like it got balled back up 5%, which I was not expecting.
But let us know down in the comment section below what you guys think of NIO. Did you guys buy any more on today's dip? Because it was a perfect opportunity. If you did, you guys are sitting real nice. We love to have these conversations with you guys, and it feels good to be back. So let us know down in the comment section below what you guys did. But that's going to wrap up this video. If you like this kind of content, you know what to do. Hit that like, share, notification bell, even the sub button. It's the best way to support the channel, and it keeps you guys up to date on all things stock market and NIO related news. But again, thank you guys so much for all your support, and we'll see you guys in the next video.